that have come so far. Kunj Bansal, Executive Director and CIO of Centrum Wealth Management, has joined us now. Morning, Kunj. Well, there are a couple of IT numbers, Midcap IT numbers that came in KPIT, Susken. It's more disappointing than happy. What's your sense? Does the Midcap IT space interest you at all?
Yeah, so to come back on the numbers first, which have been declared till now, we may probably say they have been disappointing, but I think they were in line with expectation. There wasn't any significant growth improvement or significantly sharply margin expansion or any such thing expected. So to that extent, they have been in line with expectation. Yes, within that, disappointing. However, keeping those aside, one of the stocks that we like very much is a company called Tata Elxsi. And why is that? While on the overall IT services space, both for large and mid-cap, we continue to be of the view of underperformance and as a result underweight. But this particular company has a slightly differentiated business model compared to the standard IT services business model that most of the large and mid-cap have. It will closely border on the product kind of company, and which is also reflected in its financial numbers. So against the closer to 15% EBITDA margins for most of the mid-cap IT company, this company has margins closer to 25%. Of course, reflecting in higher return on equity closer to 40%. The stock, both in line with the market and based on some news flow, which may not have a direct positive bearing or rather an immediate positive bearing on the stock, but has moved up sharply in the recent past. Despite that, given the good combination, or rather not good, but optimum combination of valuation and expected performance, the company has not yet declared December quarter numbers, but we are expecting that those should continue to be good, as has been the case till Q2. Obviously, the sector is such that the demonetization impact wouldn't be there. So that's one of the stock picks that I have from the mid-cap IT space.
Okay, Tata Elxsi has done well of late, of course. Kunj, good morning. The other space which has started to make a move, and a big move, is the FMCG names. We have seen Hindustan Unilever, for example. Britannia has made a bit of a move, and some of the other consumption stocks like Jubilant also started to move up. Do you get a sense that these stocks are now headed back towards the pre-demonetization levels?
So, frankly, market has moved relatively surprisingly in last, let's say, 15-20 days or so post the end of December, in the month of January till date. The expectation was that the results will be weak because of demonetization, which has not been the case in the results declared till now. Of course, only probably in terms of broad numbers, if we were to say hardly 15-20% of the companies have declared their numbers, and another 70-80% are yet to declare. But if we look at the numbers declared by some of the banks who have declared till now, some of the consumer durables and some of the consumer non-durable companies, there is no impact of demonetization which has been seen. Whether that has been, or rather not whether, probably that has been the case of the real demand slowdown not happening as expected, or obviously the companies have been able to manage their growth by way of giving extra discount to the distribution chain or even to the end consumer, and as a result have been able to manage the demand. And maybe that is the reason that suddenly the interest has come back to the stocks, which of course are yet to declare the numbers, but whose prices either moved down or did not move up. And the participation is being seen. As we go along, I think only the actual results is what will keep deriving the direction of such stocks. Also, let's keep in mind that the market per se may not be the driver of these individual stock prices, because as I was just saying, we have seen a sharp almost 5% movement in 15 days of the market. And to that extent, in the immediate short term, the index continuing to move upward, and as a result driving the stock prices may not be the case.
Okay, and today, of course, there are a couple of big banks that are going to announce numbers, or at least prominent banks that are going to announce numbers. Before I come to Axis, which will be post-market hours, Yes Bank, I think that will come maybe in an hour, usually comes at about 11 a.m. You have any expectations? The stock has run up so much.
Yeah, so in terms of compliance, I don't have a specific view on Yes Bank as of now, but if we look at the historical consistency of performance, quarterly numbers from the bank, that has been there for all of us to see, which obviously has resulted in it being a continuous outperformer compared to market as well as compared to the bank stock itself. So that is something that should likely, unless we see the surprise impact of demonetization here, which, as I was saying, we have not seen in some of the other banks that declared their numbers till now.
All right, we'll do one thing. We'll get into a break before we get the pre-opening numbers. But meanwhile, let us leave you with a very, very important guest